Geeks, nerds, gamers, and trolls, this is your MMOBomb.com first look at Spellsworn, a free-to-play PvP arena game now available on Steam from Frog Song Studios. As always, I am the noob Fridge, Troy Blackburn, and today we're going to take a look at this game and see what it's all about, give you a first look and help you decide if it's a game that you would like to play. Now, right off the bat, you could be forgiven for taking one look at this and going, oh, this is Battle Right, because that's what I thought the first time I saw this game on Steam, but that's actually not what it is, and it's actually quite a bit from that. Yes, it's top-down, yes, it's a PvP arena game, but other than that, there aren't a ton of similarities. It controls different, there's different systems in place here, and actually to me, it feels more like a slower-paced Magicka PvP game. There's individual modes, free-for-alls, team modes, but no matter what, whether you're by yourself or you're on a team, all your abilities affect everybody on the field, including yourself. So if you're on a team, you got to be careful, and if you're just playing for a free-for-all, you got to make sure that you're not accidentally hitting yourself with some of your spells. So a lot of unique systems in play here that really sets us apart from Battle right now. So we're just finishing up the shopping phase. In between every round, you get to shop for new spells and abilities, and you're going to get a certain amount of gold you can spend to either upgrade the abilities you're already using or to pick up new abilities. Also, it's good to know that anytime you go into the shop, you can sell off abilities that you've already purchased. So if you're playing against somebody and what you've got isn't quite working out, you can just sell that off and try to pick up a new spell, whether it's not working or whether you just want to catch your opponent off guard. Here you can see up at the top, we've got a timer for the rounds. You can see the first score track right there just to the right of the timer. I've lost the first round here. So we're going to come back in round two. I've changed around my abilities a little bit, and we're going to try to make a comeback here. It does play in a series, I believe it was 5 rounds. And what caught us off guard the very first time we played is that it's not actually, the winner isn't determined by the one who wins the most rounds. There's actually score along the way for kills and assists, and it keeps up with your deaths and all that and how long you last in a match, and it adds up a score at the end of the round. And whoever's got the highest score at the end is declared the winner on the scoreboard. So that caught us off guard a little bit. We thought we were playing for the most wins, but turns out, we were playing for score. So just keep that in mind as you go in. So you don't necessarily have to win, really, if you're playing well any round. If you're playing with a bunch of folks and you don't win a single round, but you're always coming in like second and different people are winning the rounds every time, you could still absolutely win by just the score on the scoreboard. So keep that in mind going forward. It's how you play, not necessarily the number of wins you get. So this footage right now is a buddy and me checking out the game. This was our second or third game, just dueling each other. Now I've got some footage of myself just jumping in a server with a bunch of randos that we'll show here towards the end to show a few more people on the board. I want to say some of the most fun we actually had was bring as many friends as we could in, and everybody just kind of going free for all, and then just filling out the game with like hard bots to just get that many more people on the map. That was really super intense. You can fill the game. There was like, man, there's like 8 or 10 slots for either players, or you can pick up like 5 or 6 players and just play with them, or fill it out with bots, or however you want to do it. There's quite a few people that can be on this map at the same time fighting, and that's when it gets really intense. But for right now, we're just dueling. So let's talk about a little bit about what sets this game apart from, and I'm going to keep talking about Battle Right a little bit because that's going to be the closest comparison, but let's talk about what sets this game apart from Battle Right. Now, for those of you who have played something like Battle Right or Bloodline Champions, you're going to notice right off the bat, the first big difference is the gameplay and the pace. It is a little slower, but like I said, the more people you get on the map, the more intense it actually gets. But what really sets us apart is this is not a class-based game. You're not picking a class and going in with a teammate, and there's not matchmaking. You've got a character, and you're going to get some customization things from, right now, it's just from leveling up. You get an RNG loot box, and you open it up, and you might get some sort of customization for your character. So you're just kind of customizing the look of it. The game itself, instead of having a class, you just jump in, and you've seen the shopping phase we talked about a little bit at the beginning, and you pick which abilities you want to use, and you can change those up as the game goes around. And as you saw in the shop window, there's a ton of abilities to use. There's blinks and dashes and poison balls and lightning strikes and giant AoE poisons, and you can disappear and leave a clone behind, and there's just all sorts of abilities that you can try and use. And one of the big strategies you'll see used that I've seen so far in the game is you'll see that F ability all the way to the right there. That's just the default ability. You just always have that. You can't upgrade it or anything. And so a big part of this game, you can see the map is shrinking in, is to actually, yeah, you're trying to hit your opponent with abilities, but a lot of those abilities have knockbacks and stuff on them. So you're trying to actually knock your opponent most of the time off of the map into the poison or the lava, depending on which map it is. And they take the damage while they're out there. So that's one of the big goals of the game, is to try to knock them off the map. They'll die faster like that than they will necessarily just hitting them directly with your abilities. But like I said, that F ability is a default ability. You always have it. You can't upgrade it, but that's a little AoE knockback. You'll see us blinking on each other and then trying to pop that F to knock each other off the map. So you'll always have that if nothing else. Even if you want to plan your ability strategy completely different from knockbacks and stuff, you want to focus on slows and poison and things like that, you still always got a knockback where if you've got that moment where they're on the edge, you can just hit them with that AoE knockback that you've always got and knock them off the map and finish them off. Now, as I said, there is no matchmaking in the game. There are just server lists, and it's not a huge population right now. The game seems to be pretty under the radar. What to say, I've been having a ton of fun playing it, but it's just not a huge community right now that's just always playing the game. So, you know, it's just a server list. You can jump on and choose a server and play with randos, or there is just a sort of a quick server option in the menu where you can just hit it and it'll find like a server that's got good ping and isn't full and just kind of plop you in there. Just keep in mind, if you do that, you can, you know, accidentally get put in mid-match. I got put in at the end of a match one time, and it was like the last round, and I never even got to play, and the thing ended, and I had to wait for them to restart the game. So, no matchmaking. There's just a server list. But for me, personally, this game is the most fun when you just bring your friends, host your own server, and just bring your peeps and just get in voice chat and just trash talk each other and sling spells at one another and try to knock each other off the map and just talk mad smack. That is the most fun. That is what this game really is sort of centered around and should be the most fun. Probably watching this video, it's probably not a lot of fun to just watch, but I can tell you it is actually fun to play, especially when you've got buddies and you're in there with people who are just talking mad smack to each other and having fun and experimenting with abilities and trying different strategies. It actually is a lot of fun. I don't really see, obviously, this being a huge esport. Like I said, it's not the most exciting thing to watch in the world, but the game has been fun to play. It's ran well. The only really bugs that I've kind of run into are very minor, and they're just like UI bugs out in the main menu. The game itself seems to run just fine. Everything functions perfectly well. It's a very small download too, by the way. It's like 750 megabytes or something. I forget what it was. It was small. So it won't take you long at all to download if you want to give it a try. Like I said, free to play on Steam. Hey, check it out. Alright, so we've talked a little bit about how the game plays and some of the features of the game. As always, keep in mind, this is a first look. This is not a review. This is not a guide. This is just to give you an opportunity to see what the game looks like, sounds like, plays like, and help you decide if it's a game that you might want to try out. So now that we've talked a little bit about the game, let's talk about a little bit about what's going on in this game. Me and my buddy Bob are dueling it out to the death here. And like I said, I'm pretty sure at this point we still thought we were playing for most wins. And we didn't realize there was going to be a score at the end. But so my strategy sort of is going into this. You can see I've got an ability that makes me disappear. And as I've upgraded it, all these abilities have 3 tiers that can be upgraded. I've upgraded that 3 tiers, and it leaves a clone behind when I disappear that keeps walking at the 3rd tier. It keeps walking in the direction I was going. The 2nd tier gives me the clone. The 1st tier is just going invisible. The 2nd tier gives you the clone that just stands there. The 3rd tier, the clone keeps walking. So my strategy that worked out pretty well, not right there apparently, is I upgraded that, and I would disappear on him and leave my clone walking, and it actually, he was having fits in voice chat because I was juking him every time. But I've got my E ability there is a big AoE slow. It's like a time warp thing, and that puts a slow on him, and then I was dropping that R, which is the giant AoE poison in there. And then the A ability there is the blink. Every game I've played, I've seen everybody pretty much use blink. So I guess it's League of Legends. Blink is OP. But there are other movement abilities, like some dashes and stuff, but everybody seems to use the blink. The blink, if you've got it off a cooldown, it's a lot easier to get in out of the poison or the lava or whatever that you're getting thrown into. And as you can see, I've got on my Q, and you can see you can move your abilities around on your hotbar just by dragging them if you want to. The ability I just moved to S is just a fireball. and it's got a knockback on it. And as you upgrade it, as the fireball goes out, it'll get bigger until it reaches maximum range. A lot of the projectile abilities have like a maximum range, so they'll only go so far before they hit anything. They're fairly slow moving, but the benefit is they have a pretty good knockback on them. So once you do make contact, it keeps knocking your opponent back. One of the nastiest things is once you do manage to get your opponent out into the poison or the lava off the map, you keep throwing, because they're slowed while they're taking the damage, trying to get back on the map. And if they don't have their blink on cooldown, you just keep slinging your projectiles at them and keep knocking them back into the poison. And I can't tell you how many times I've died to people who just did that to me. There's another ability called magic missiles. Once you get it upgraded, if you hit somebody with it, it doesn't go on cooldown. You just keep shooting and keep getting knocked back. It's a smaller knockback, but it's continuous if you keep hitting somebody with it. And that's nasty if you get caught out in the poison and somebody starts shooting magic missiles at you, so watch out for that. But yeah, my strategy is just sort of go invisible, drop a slow, then drop the poison on him. Right there you can see it go off. And the slow just makes him stay in the poison longer. A big dome slow, there's actually upgrades to it as well. As you upgrade it, you can control turning the slow on and off, and then you can toggle where it's a speed boost. So you can drop it in front of you and give yourself a speed boost if you toggle it, and then toggle it back to slow the opponent who's trying to chase you. So lots of strategies actually when it comes to your abilities, and as they upgrade, you can sort of change even further what they do, but you don't have to upgrade them. It's not always straight power when they upgrade. Like the AoE poison I'm using, the damage doesn't actually increase, it's just the area of effect that increases. So not a ton of like just straight damage upgrades. It's a lot of utility upgrades in a way to sort of change the way abilities work. There you can see Noob Fridge wins. Now, to be fair, the round we played before, the game we played before this, Bob whooped up on me pretty good. So this was just my payback. I wasn't necessarily dominating him. We were pretty much 1 for 1 at this point. So that lets you just see a little bit of the after screen where you get the XP and see the stats and stuff. And what we're going to do now, we're going to jump over to the main menu and take a look at some of the features out there. There's not a lot going on at the moment. We'll take a look and see what's going on out there, though. So going out to the main menu, we're just going to take a look around. As you can see, that's my character there. I did get that staff that he's wearing and the outfit that he's got on from RNG Box. So here you can see the server list. You can go in and just scroll down through the server, see what you want to do. Here's, you can host your own game. You can add a password to it. You can invite people through Steam. Up the top, you can see the quick join button. This is your chests. If you get a chest when you level up, that's where they'll pop in at. And this is how you go in. You can customize your character, see the things that you've gotten, and you can change things around there. Taking a look at the settings menu, you can rebind the spell key buttons. As you can see, you just click on those and rebind those. There's a stop button. There's a center camera button. The camera doesn't actually follow your character. There's no way to turn that off and on. So audio, I was trying to show here a bug that I had the first time I got in where you've turned something all the way down. You can't turn the slider back up. You had to manually put in a number, but apparently at some point that got fixed because as you can see, the audio slider went right back up. Graphics settings, not a ton to look at. You know, some of the very basic stuff. There's vertical sync if you want to play full screen and need that. The screen percentage is just sort of the resolution scale. So if you slide that down, it's going to get a little blurry if you're trying to play full screen on full 1080 or 4K or whatever. So, and then there's the credits. And then there's this little thing that pops up. This is just like a little news statement. Congratulations to Spagooty Booty there for winning some tournament. No store in the game at the moment. And I always hate that. I hate when I do a first look and there's not a store or there's just a few beta items in a game whenever you get started, because you never know what that store is going to look like later. So hopefully this game seems to be pretty cosmetic centered at the moment. So as far as the store is concerned, we'll just have to keep an eye on it, man, going forward. And I really do hate that because there's been a couple games we've done first looks on where, you know, it didn't look all that bad. And then a couple of weeks later, after the first look goes out, the store's like, oh, here's like all this pay to win, or here's a stamina system that you didn't know was coming where you got to pay if you want to do more than a couple of things. Like, that can be dangerous, but like I said, the game really seems cosmetic-centric, and I haven't looked for any statements from the developer or anything, but I could just see cosmetics being a big part of this, and this game could do well with that. It's character customization, setting yourself apart from your friends or other people you're playing. So to finish this first look out, here's some footage. Like I told you earlier, I've got some footage of me just jumping on a random server and just playing with a bunch of folks I didn't know late one night. So this is that. This is just a bunch of folks that just had a server up. I just hit the quick serve, the quick join server, and it just put me with these folks based on ping and availability. So we just started going at it. I don't think anybody really said anything at chat at any point. There is a chat in the bottom left. There wasn't a lot going on there. I'm not sure if the two dudes that were in the server already knew each other or not, but they didn't just turn on me and try to focus me down. So that's good. But yeah, like you said, the game's a lot more intense the more people you add, and this is like half as many people as it can actually be on this map at a time. So the only thing is, if you get knocked out early with a bunch of folks playing, you can be sitting there for a minute waiting for everybody else to finish up. So. But, you know, you just watch and you can kind of pay more attention to what their individual strategies are. And there you can see I was so close to winning. I knocked that dude out in the lava, and he freaking hit me with an ability right before the lava killed him, and I died, and I didn't win. So second place is the first loser. But, yeah, like I said, this game has been a ton of fun. I have enjoyed my time in this immensely, and it's one of those where if it's just me, I'm not going to keep the game on my computer and just jump in and play with randos. But if I've got friends who want to keep playing this going forward, we are abso-freaking-lutely going to keep playing this, because that's where this game shines. That's where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. The money is in the friends and bringing them in, and just, it doesn't matter if you're doing teams or just one big giant free-for-all melee. That's where the fun is, laughing and cutting up and having a good time with folks you know and enjoy playing games with. And you don't need a big server population for that. Like, that doesn't matter. If you're bringing a handful of friends in and just playing with them, to me, and make your judgments however you want to. If you say, oh, it's a small community, dead game, whatever, you know, that's your opinion. My opinion is I don't need a community for this game. I don't need it to have huge thousands and millions of players. I just need a game that has stable servers that my friends and I can jump on, and I can just host a game and they can join up and we can jump in and just mess with each other and have a good time. That's where this game really shines. That's what it seems to be all about. And that's something that I, at least personally, can get into. So hopefully that sounds like something you'd want to give a shot. If you think you might enjoy this, bring some friends, man, and jump in, because this game is a ton of fun with other folks. I would definitely recommend it if you're under that situation. If you're looking for a solo game, or you're looking for like super competitive classes and different classes and matchmaking, and you want to be paired with people of the similar skill level, this isn't the game for you. This is just jump in and just sling spells and just have a good time. Like I said, it reminds me as much of Magicka, probably more so than it does of something like Battle Right. But yeah, top-down PvP arena spell slinging, it's enjoyable, I will have to say. See, I'm not always negative when it's a good game that's fun to play. But this is going to do it for the MMOBomb.com first look at Spellsworn, free-to-play on Steam. I know I've said that like half a dozen times at this point, but yeah, it's free-to-play on Steam. Check it out. We love us some free-to-play here at MMOBomb.com. As always, be sure to check out the website for all the latest news and information on everything happening in the free-to-play online gaming universe. Until next time, I have been the Noob Fridge, Troy Blackburn. Check me out on twitch.tv/NoobFridge, playing games like this with my friends and just having a good time. But for now, this first look is done. I am outie. I should probably go to the gym. Nah.